Okay, so for any of you that are having trouble getting going on 3.4, I'll just do some of the first two questions here for you. So question number 1 says solve. So remember, we've been talking a lot about graphs, but solving an equation means that you look for what would be the intercepts or the zeros of the graph. So you look at each factor and you find out what x value would make each factor equal to 0, especially when we have 0 on this side, right? That's what it means. So where does x equal 0? Well, at 0. Awesome. Where does x plus 3 equal 0? Well, that happens at x equals -3. There's another solution. And finally, where does x minus 4 equal 0? Well, that's at x equals +4. So there's your third solution. So for A, you just let each factor equal 0. Okay? C is a little bit trickier, but you still do the same thing. So 2x plus 4. Well, if this is 0 or if this is 0, then the product is going to be 0. So the solutions are found where the x values that make each factor 0. So you just let each factor inside the brackets equal 0 and solve. So this is going to be 2x equals -4, x equals -4/2, which simplifies to -2. So -2 is a solution. And also x minus 3, where does that equal 0? Well, that equals 0 when x is +3, and so on. Okay, so what about over here? The multiplicities, when the multiplicities change, guys, it doesn't make a difference. Because wherever this, for example, is 0, then 0 cubed is still 0. So it doesn't matter what the powers are, the exponents, the multiplicities on the factors. So this is still at x equals -4 and x equals -2. Okay, those are your solutions. And if you were to check that, that's no problem. Then what you do is you plug in, well, -4 plus 4 cubed times -4 plus 2 squared. Does that equal 0? Well, that's 0 cubed times -2 cubed equals 0. That's 0 times -8. Yeah, that equals 0 because we have 0 as a factor, and so that checks out. And so you can do that with the x minus 2 as well, and so on. Okay, any questions about number 2? Other than you have to factor this one for B. Okay, to factor that one. You might want to check x minus 1, right, as a factor. So let's see, -1 cubed minus 1 equals 0. So that's, let's see, does that work? It's -1 minus 1. That does not equal 0. So that's not a factor. X plus 1 is not a factor. Let's try +1. Well, that's 1 minus 1. That does equal 0. So guess what? X minus 1 should be a factor there. X minus 1 should be a factor. And you can go ahead and factor that out just like we've been doing. And for those of you that want to see, I'll do that real quickly here below. So there's one tricky thing about 2b, because this second factor cannot be factored any further. So these are the prime factors, like this. So this factor over here, no matter what you do to try to factor this, you can't. And b squared, let's see, b squared minus 4ac. Remember that? That's your determinant. That's going to be 1 minus 4 times 1 times 1, which is 1 minus 4 or -3. That means there's no zeros here. So the only intercepts or the only solutions are going to come at x equals +1. There's no solution that's attached to this factor. Okay, so for 2b, your only answer is -1.